Hi, I'm Drew.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Drooling Semantics.
Drew, are you there? Drew, I am really excited, mate. Really. There you are.
Easy. Calm, Sam. Now explain yourself, mate. Come on. What's got you going?
What, number one, hello. Nice to see you. How you doing?
Hello. Nice to see you, mate. Lovely. Yeah, come on.
First guest of season 9, mate. Super excited.
I thought that was it. I thought that what is special about today, season 9, first guest, fantastic stuff. Great.
I'm not excited. Some of my beer's already got. I've started already. So.
Good Lord, right. I'm on the coffee. That won't calm me down, but come on.
Yeah. No, that might get you to the same level as me, maybe. But yeah, so really excited because very special guest, not only first guest of season 9, but very special guest for another reason, which will sort of become apparent as we welcome her when she arrives very shortly, and we have a chat with her. There's something rather special about our guest this week. Not only about her, but about why she's a guest.
Why she's here. Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Sam, could I just I don't want to put a downer on it. It's far from it, but
right.
We're about to interview our first guest of the season, and I don't think, with the word interview, don't think we could possibly miss the chance of paying tribute to definitely one of our finest interviewers ever.
Yes.
And that's the wonderful Michael Parkinson, affectionately known as Parky, who I think is undoubtedly the master of the chat show. He passed away a little while ago. What can you say about the man? You know,
that's it. I mean, just brought a new level, I think, to the art of being a chat show host, and that sounds like making it quite it sounds like not nullifying it, but dumbing it down. But it's absolutely not. But I think he spawned a style of interviewing and almost created this world where interviewers were seen slightly differently. And you only have to look at all the different kinds and styles of programs that exist now that have hints of what he did and what he created and how he just was as an interviewer, as someone simply asking questions of people who were recognizable, famous, or known for doing something. I
mean, just look at the guests from Rod Hull and Emu to Muhammad Ali, probably the greatest sportsman ever, to a very drunken and very entertaining Ollie Reed.
Yeah.
And then there were moments where things didn't quite go right. You know, there were, people sat there and went, hang on a minute, asking the right questions. People were difficult, but he dealt with it in such a professional and calm and, superbly, stylist way that, and like you say, he's all those sort of, armchair interviewers, you got the desk interviewee thing that, that the Americans are very good at, late night show and all those. But that's sitting in a chair, cross-legged, going, talk to me. Which of course, we have learnt so much from, because we're so good at it, Sam, now, aren't we?
Well, I'm in a chair and you're on a sofa, so we're sort of close to that.
Actually, yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, we can but hope to even slightly touch on the ability of the late, great Mr. Michael Parkinson.
Oh, he's brilliant. He was brilliant.
And I'll tell you what, Drew, I'll raise my glass to him. Cheers.
Here you go, Parky.
May he rest in peace. And the best way we can continue this tribute to him is, why don't we welcome our guest in and ask some damn good questions and interview like the great man once did, or as best we can anyway.
As best we can. Sam, I think you're right.
Okay.
Let's do it, mate.
Well, in comes our first guest of season 9.
And ladies and gentlemen, listeners, viewers, we introduce to you the wonderful Lisa Riesner. Welcome, Lisa. Lovely to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, we often say that we'll get out and about and go on the road and that. We haven't done that very much. So we have reached out, or rather, you have reached out And you are our first guest of season 9, but also our first, shall we say, international guest. So Lisa, tell everyone where you are, who you are, and just give us that little introduction, because it's delightful to have you with us. It really is.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. Yes, I'm Lisa Riesner. I'm a German actress. So growing up in Germany, my father was from Austria, my mom from the German-Polish border, so a good mixture. But now, and I think that's super exciting, living in Denmark, in Scandinavia, in Copenhagen, and working here and working a lot also abroad. And my background is I studied acting. I have a state diploma. I studied for 4 years and studied theater, film, worked a lot with my voice. And I'm now a working actress for TV, film, and state theater. So I have some guest plays, but I'm not in a long-term contract with a state theater. And I love acting. I love films. It's a dream come true that I can live this life like that.
Wow. Yeah, we share that sentiment. It is a dream, isn't it? And it is a gift. So yeah, Lisa, where did you train?
I trained in the Michael Chekhov studio in Berlin. It's a private but state-supported school. And do you know Michael Chekhov technique? It's like a Russian technique from...
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So it's Stanislavski was working, and Michael Chekhov was one of his students. And he wasn't really happy with all that Stanislavski did, right? Very Russian and strict. So Chekhov invented his own technique, but based on a lot of Stanislavski work, which is also a Russian acting teacher. And Michael also studied a lot in Buddhism, anthroposophy, and in yoga, and uses a lot of centers. The center in the third eye, the center in the heart, the center down below, like the chi center down the navel, and all of these things. So there's a lot of stuff from yoga that we know, but turned over, and it's a very physical approach, and also a very fantasy-based approach. And I'm always saying it's this approach where, best example, you're with your kids, you're on a playground, right? And they're just in the sand, and there's basically nothing, and they're like, the pirates are coming, head up, boom, 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 And that's exactly what Chekhov is. So there's nothing, and you create everything in your fantasy. And what I always say, the healthy and the good thing about it is you don't have to think about your grandma dying, you don't have to think about your brother having cancer or something, and you can still cry, or you can still feel the feelings. So that's what I like about it.
I mean, we work in a world where creativity is so important. And I think what you're talking about there is just taking it to the next level. There's a lot of educational level to theatre, film and acting, where it's right, you're going to create something real, but being able, as you say, to take it to that fantasy level, to be able to take it beyond and be perhaps even more creative. It's a skill, and it's something that's highly important. Now we'll get on to talking about your film work in a bit, but what I wanted to bring up first of all was the fact that you've gone from studying to being a working jobbing actress, but you've taken that further because you also coach, don't you? So you are passing on these things that you have learned to students yourself.
Yes, that's very true. So I started with acting workshops, and also actually dancing workshops, because I used to love Brazilian dance. So I was always teaching, and I did way back, I was also teaching yoga and meditation, because I love yoga and I've been doing it for 10 years. So there's always been this like teacher thing, and I've just been really good at it. It's not even that I was like looking for it. It's just been coming that people told me, your workshops are extremely good. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So I kept doing it, and then more focusing on one-to-one and coaching. And especially now with my acting and career coaching, there's a few things I have learned. Actors often have a lot of responsibility on the agent. So the agent knows everything about negotiation, about rights, buyouts, about the job. And the actor knows nothing. And this is something that I want to change because it can be used against you, and it happens a lot. And I don't want that. So there's a lot of education from my side about these things, about the business part of acting, which is look at a contract. What is royalties? How can I negotiate that? And so on and so forth. And not only that, but then there is like our world, obviously, our acting world became online, especially in pandemic and after. So now many actors still struggle with that switch of online applications and how to do a really good self-tape or how to even present themselves online. And many are not even aware that if I put myself in a caster position or director, I will look at their Instagrams. I will Google their name. And if some weird things appear, I will not like it. And if there's nothing appearing, I will not be sure if he or she is an actress. And obviously, I will first invite them to an online audition before I will invite them live. And probably sometimes, sometimes I haven't seen the people that booked me before, right? So it happens a lot.
Yes.
So, and I think that's where I'm coming in, because I want to help people to not just stand in the dark, and that acting is like a luck game. So, but coming into power and really having it as something that I create, and I create my jobs. I create my future and I create my dream life. And it might be sometimes really hard work and sweat and tears. We actors are in general quite used to it anyways. But it's worth it.
Yeah, it's interesting because it used to be that you would sit and wait for an agent to contact you. You've got this job. You go to the audition. Yes, you're booked. No, you're not. But there are so many, as you said, there are so many variables now. And with everything, you are totally open as an actor, because if you have a social, media presence, people will look at you. And I mean, I have, I worked with someone a little while ago, and her agent said to her, all these photographs you have, all this stuff, that's wonderful on a personal level, but producers and directors are looking at you, the stuff you're putting out on your set, you've got to pull it back, you've got to rein it back, because actually your social, your private life is not what they need, and it is actually overshadowing who you are as a professional. Have your personal life, of course, and we all need that. And I don't care what people get up to behind their closed doors, but if I'm producing and suddenly that leaks over, then that's so. I think that's. I mean, and actors don't learn that at any
school.
I mean, now, I've learned. I was at drama school many years ago. Don't say anything, Sam. It was a long time ago. I know,
many
we
years ago.
we were given a little bit of an introduction into. But it was like how to do your tax, how to if you are unemployed, how to get state benefits and things like that.
It's already amazing, Drew. I mean, that's amazing knowledge that many people won't get in their drama school.
But that was sort of like 2 hours one morning before they went goodbye. That was it.
It's not enough. It's
not enough. And then students still don't get that even now, when it's, as you say, a far more complicated world for an actor. So. Which is one of the reasons we Sam and I started the podcast, is to say this is actually what working actors get up to. Yeah.
There's so much more to this world than, as much as we all love being the leading actor or getting all the plaudits and being on the posters and doing whatever. There's a million other things that go into doing what we do before we get to that point, and the things that you have to go through, or the jobs that you have to do that build to that. And I mean, we all try and be as multifaceted, as multi-skilled as possible. But that leads nicely to talking about the fact that you've kind of cornered a market by going, right, well, yes, I'm German born, but I'm not going to limit myself just to films or work in my native language, in my native country. So as you say, now you're out of Denmark, but you quite clearly speak fluent English, as we're proving now, and but you also, am I right, you speak French as well fluently, is that right?
I speak French, and I'm learning Danish. I'm in level 2 now because I live in Denmark, so that's high up on my list right now. So it's German, English, French, and Danish.
Wow.
And after that, I have more plans, but now it's like learning a language really well takes time.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yes. So, and
Yeah.
it was that always a plan to go, right, I'm going to spread around, or is it just something that kind of happened?
No, it was never a plan to move to Scandinavia. And as you might just guess, it happened like in the end of the pandemic. And it was also a choice because I think now looking back is always interesting, right? Because now I'm like, oh, it makes so much sense. Because when I was young, I used to watch a lot of MTV and Viva. And actually, when people ask me, like, how did I get my language skills in English? I'm like, I watched so much MTV, like, these dating series, like where you go out of the bus and then you have 10 minutes with that person and they can dump you and stuff. And I watch, or they go to your room and they check it. And that's how I learned English. But I think I learned it pretty well. And then
you did, yeah.
I just traveled a lot and just like, supported that also. But so now it makes sense, okay, that I'm always like working in English speaking projects and that's the main thing that I'm doing. Exactly. And I might like speak some French there, here and there, but mostly my roles are English speaking. And yeah, now that makes sense. But it was never a plan. And of course, I wanted to start over in Germany. But when I graduated, December 2021, yeah. No, 2020, sorry. Yeah, was huge pandemic. And I was struggling to get like any jobs, which is totally normal because there was nothing in the first like half a year. So I got a theater job, pretty good private theater. And I did a lot of short films myself. But I stayed in Berlin for 2 years and I didn't get anything. And I was like, I'm not going to stay here because it doesn't seem like it's pretty much working for me. And it does seem like it's a very excluded scene where mostly like famous people get the main roles. And I started to get booked to Denmark, to Copenhagen. And then it switched because I was like, I had a dream list. And on my list, way up was living by the beach. Because I also realized as an actor, I mean, I used to live in a really small shared flat, almost no rent. Amazing, right? But when you hit your 30s, then you're like, okay, I don't want to live like this forever. So I don't know. Now I have like I can show you, I have like a self-tape corner. It's like here, for example.
Perfect.
I have a lot of space now because I thought like, if I want to be an actress and do this long, then I'm going to look at it with a long breath. On a nice living in a nice flat where I have space where I can help others to create what I'm creating as well, to live by the beach, for example. And Copenhagen is surrounded by ocean, so it was pretty amazing. And I was booked there, so I started to get jobs. It started with commercials, leading role commercials, which was already amazing. My first commercial was by the beach. It was a wine commercial. It was so romantic. Like I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. If I could do that more often. It was just, it was like 6 hours with some really nice lunch and super nice people and some nice like salary. And I was like, I couldn't get used to that. And then it happened more. It just happened more. And I was like, okay, there seem to be a lot of jobs. And then before even living there, I got a supporting role, like smaller role with some lines in a crime series. In English, it was about it was like a terror scenario, and then there was this American agent coming to Denmark and trying to solve the situation for the Danish people and stuff. So I was like, okay, if I can get that and all these commercial jobs, I'm just going to risk it because I always wanted to live by the ocean. And that's the story. And then I did it. And from there, it continued because I knew I made also the decision to spread myself internationally because it just makes sense and it feels like, and honestly, it feels most easiest to me. Like it just feels most natural. So with this decision, everything just seemed to work out for me. Yeah.
Well, it obviously is working out because you have some amazing projects in the pipeline as well, with a couple of feature films that are in development, in production. Can you tell us a bit more about those? Because you said the lead. You have the lead in those, and you're working with some very exciting actors.
Yes. So look, what's very interesting in all the things that happened this year is that they were not straightforward. For example, I auditioned for a role in a feature film in a UK feature independent production called The Baby in the Basket, and I didn't get the role. And I was devastated. I was like, oh, this would have been so nice, right? And half a year later, the scriptwriter wrote me and said, like, look, we have a new situation. An actress couldn't make it due to another date. Do you want to play the leading role of another character? And I was like, this is crazy. And yes, I want that. So
Absolutely.
that's going to be shot end of September. It's going to be released next year, and it's going to be in Glasgow, Edinburgh, in this direction, and obviously like in a church. And I'm going to play a nun, and it's going to be super exciting. I never did something like it. And yeah, I'm going to play next to Mariam Dabo. She was the Bond girl in the 80s or the 80s?
Yeah, amazing, fabulous,
pretty woman and a talented actress, I think. And all my friends are jealous, by the way. Oh, especially my male friends. They're like, "Oh my God, she's my favorite Bond girl."
I'm fairly jealous now as well.
Yeah, I can't wait, honestly. And this has also happened to me. Same thing for the State Theater that I was in Berlin. I played this summer in July. I auditioned last year. I didn't get it, although she really liked me, the director. And she left me an Instagram message half a year ago and said, our main actress that we played last year with jumped off because she has another project. Do you want to get the lead role? And I was like, through Instagram, right? And it was actually, I found it in the messages really by luck.
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't see it for a few days. And probably she forgot my email, she forgot my phone number, because I think she had it back then, but it was a year ago. Huh? So I was like, of course I want that. And she didn't even know I was living in Copenhagen. But then I said, it's no problem. Have an international tax number, have my own business, so I can work anywhere. I can just fly there. I lived in Berlin for 5 years, so no problem. And then I did it. I played the lead in this Shakespeare play, What You Will, Olivia. Was like a lot of pages, right? It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I mean, Shakespeare, I love Shakespeare. I could play Shakespeare all the time. I love it. I mean, the texts are so easy to learn, and the characters are so like have so many facets, and I just adore. But that's stories I'm telling because I want people to know that sometimes you need to have a longer breath, and you need to use your Instagram, and you need to like, because, you know, also with the director from the UK film now, The Baby in the Basket, the nice thing is when he gave me the self-tape option, I was like, look, this is my phone number, this is my email, reach me anytime. I was very straightforward with my information, and I think I made an impression of being very reliable. So when someone else couldn't make it, and they were probably like in doubt how to, you know, could they find someone that could really commit? And I show so much commitment, then I think that was also a point, not just my acting, but also giving him all my personal details and being like, I'm going to be there, just give me a call. So that is also really important.
I think it's a big thing, and perhaps that it isn't necessarily clear to general public, perhaps, that it goes beyond just being a good actor. There's so much more, that the commitment levels go beyond just learning a script and being able to perform the role itself.
Thank you.
It's the communication, it's
Yes.
the availability, it's the commitment to a project, rather than just to being able to tick a box and go, yeah, I can do that role, or I can play that part. And I think,
Sam, I'm so happy you say that. I'm so happy you say that, because when I'm coaching, that's something I tell people, and I realize they don't have much clue about the whole bubble of acting, the whole business, the whole industry. And people are so thankful. A scriptwriter, a producer is so thankful if an actress knows what it means financially, what it means from time effort to do a movie, what it means like from crew wise and people they need for post-production, for pre-production, for production. They are so grateful if actors know. And if they're not just like, oh, you can pay me 3,000 a day for an indie film, like, what's wrong with you? And it's like, it's an indie film made by crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Of course, that people that do it as their hobby, they obviously cannot live from it. And if the film doesn't get super successful, they won't even make any wins. Of course, they cannot pay you 3,000 euros as an actor. And I think sometimes also in my path, because I've also been producing, I was irritated by reaction of actors when I'm like, I'm doing as a hobby in my free time. This has nothing to do with my company because that's just acting related. I'm doing a middle-length film, like 30 minutes, 5 days of shoot. And yes, I cannot pay you 1,000 euros, but I would still love to have you as an actor. I will give you amazing show reel. I will organize a cinema premiere, and I will basically organize this film in my free time for 9 months or 10 months. And then I was also a bit like irritated by the reaction, but then just realizing it comes because the actors don't know. So we have almost obligation to educate ourselves in the industry so that we can get more booked, because people love that. They love when you go across things humble.
It's a level of, I think it's a level of professionalism. I did a shoot recently. It was one day, and I traveled 300, 400 miles up north to the north of England to shoot at it was a beautiful location. It was in a castle in the middle of nowhere. And they said, well, we can't really, we can't pay travel expenses. I said, that's okay. I'll travel up, and we were shooting quite early in the morning. I said, look, I'll travel up the night before. I'll stay in a hotel. I can drive. I'll get to the shoot. And they said, are you sure? And I was going, yeah, I want to work. I want to do the film. You're paying me reasonably well. It's not a problem. And so I went up the night before, and I thought I'll stay in a really nice hotel. I had a nice dinner. I could look over my lines and relax. Next day I got to set. I had a wonderful time. And they said, we're so grateful that you did that. And I said, well, it's my job. I have to get there. I have to do it. It's like people saying, I won't self-tape over the weekend. I know it's a pain, but if it was an audition, if it was a face-to-face audition on a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, you would go.
Yeah.
So you're actually in your own home, self-taping. Why wouldn't you? Do you want to work or not? Is always my answer to that. Is like, do you want to work? Then you'll do it. If you don't complain. Just don't do the job.
I love it so much that you say that. And I have 1,000 examples where I did the same. And, we have to be honest. I mean, like, if I'm sitting in a production, in the day, I'm getting dressed, I'm getting my makeup, I'm going to play this role that I ever wanted to play. Like, that's luxury. That is a dream come true. And I'm not famous. I know that through me, they won't get tons of money for their production. So that I'm standing there about to go in front of camera is a little miracle, because I know about their need for money and stuff like that to even make this happen, to even get that camera there, to stand there, and not for it to be a cell phone, but basically like a real nice camera.
A real shit, yeah.
So I feel the same. I just feel immensely grateful, and same time I'm happy to pay the travels. And that's just you can just ask about the production. It's totally fine to be like, hey, is it like an indie production? I see you have some crowdfunding on. I can actually just make the dots, right? Okay.
Find out. Yeah.
I think you're so right, and I'm so happy you say that. And then that's something that's missing with many actors. And that's actually one of the main reasons they don't get the jobs. And that's very something to align to. And I just want to make one example. I worked with Lucas Lugran. He's like a Swedish actor that's now in a lot of he was in the $1 Billion Code and Netflix and stuff. And he played in my middle-length film that I created. And he said, I worked for free for 10 years before I started to get, because he said, I love films. And I love to be there. And if I see it's an ambitious project, but they maybe don't have money and they're pulling it out of the dirt, basically, which often happens. It happens so often. They do it because they love it, but none of them is rich and has the money. And they put a they have put months into sponsoring and stuff like that. Then he said like, and that's the reason why I'm there, because I love it.
Yeah.
And so that was really important for me to hear, and to be like, okay, so I maybe got to find another way on the side, right, to sometimes pay my rent. But I can say at this point, with the jobs that I'm doing, I'm getting paid with the TV shows I did, or the commercials. Also, of course, it's one income that I can pay my rent. So that's really, really nice, and it's possible.
I think it's all about a level of respect, isn't it? That we are in this industry because we love what we do, and everyone has worked hard to get where they are, and that doesn't just kind of pinpoint actors. That's whether you're a sound operator, or whether you're a script writer, or even people that work in the admin side, like sorting contracts or raising funding or dealing with legal. All those people have had to work to get where they are. And I think it's invaluable to have an understanding, or at least an appreciation, of everyone that goes into the whole process of making things together. And equally, a big budget doesn't guarantee something is going to be either highly successful or of a better level. I mean, we've all seen amateur theatre shows that have blown us away, and then professional ones where we've gone, what a waste of ticket money. And equally, there are films that have had hundreds of millions in budget that have been awful, or have been critically sort of damned. And then others that have been made on very low budget and have been immensely successful. So you cannot guarantee, just because there happen to be more dollar signs behind something, that it's going to be that much better. But I think
I love that you say that. Yeah, it's very true.
Understanding, isn't it? It's that appreciation of all levels and everyone's importance within a production.
And I see it a lot in the commercials, because they have a lot of money, but you can also feel that everybody's there for the money, or many people are. I'm always trying to make the best time out of it. And sometimes I meet people who want the same. It's really differs from production to production. But sometimes you can just feel like everybody wants this to be over soon. And they have their storyboard, and we're going to do that. And mostly the client is sitting in the back and being like, I don't like that. And it's like, it's getting really stressful for the people working there, but they also get tons of money for it. So I'm a bit like, the actors is probably the one pay the least here,
We're at the bottom. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but that's exactly. So I'm totally with you on that point. And then I have this like no budget production from this graduation film where they have super high ambitions and they want to send it to festivals and pitch it as a pilot. And I'm being there, and everybody loves what they do. And the runner is just the most amazing person, and like trying to fix everything. And I love her so much. And I'm like, I'm home, Yeah.
I was two scales of, I did a commercial shoot recently, and I looked up the DOP, the director of photography, beforehand to see her work. And she is an absolutely amazing, her work is incredible. And I'm thinking, why? And then I realized, you're doing this advert to fund your film. That's all you're there for. And she's incredible. And she had as well, her whole team was a female team, and she took them everywhere. She said, this is my team. Wow. Where I go, they go. So they were amazing. These girls, these women were fabulous, and they were, excuse me, throwing out great ideas, and there was no, the grip was going, I think we should swing a lens. And she went, I think you're right. Let's change the lens. Let's move it here. And the director was going, wow, they know their stuff. Made their job so easy. But you were talking about, I did a graduation film a little while ago, and one of the runners on there, he was saying, we've got nowhere to eat, so I've cooked. But he said, all I got to do is kind of find a microwave somewhere. He cooked this wonderful lunch for us all. But he was running around with hot dishes trying to find a microwave, and he ran to a garage who had meals on site, and he said, can I use your microwave to heat my stew? And he put his pot of stew in there, heated it, and ran back over and fed us all. And I thought, that is commitment. to art.
Yeah. Oh my God. Now
It was,
now that you said that, I'm having like a few beautiful stories in my head about like amazing productions and amazing people that I've met. Because, what I find is quite magical. So we know how our world is running these days, right? And since a long time already. So if people come together 20, 30, 40 and create something together, which is art, which is a story that's mostly very like life-changing, or when I write my scripts, it comes from my own biography and it comes from people I met that have touched me. I will talk about my father or something like that. My father is bipolar, and like bring these stories up, bring these emotions up. And then there's these people, and we create it together, and we go through the storm. Sometimes it's hard, as you said, they haven't eaten because we're still on the same scene and we can't get it finished. Everybody's hungry, or other things. It can just also get emotional after some days, because it is really, really much a load of work, and we make it happen. And I think that is actually, I'm coming more to a spiritual view. It has something spiritual, so it has like a healing, unity. We come together from all different angles and countries and create something, and you can I can feel that. For example, on the last day, I can feel now we've moved through something, maybe like an ancestral trauma or something, and we are finishing this project, and I can feel it, in the space. And that's why I'm like, goosebumps. I'm like, oh my God, this is good. This is good. And then I know why I'm here, and I know why I'm doing this. And I wouldn't say that, and I'm not an actress, and I have met some actors. I'm talking about Lucas Lugren. He has carried our equipment because he saw we needed some extra people. And he's like, as I said, an actor who's done Netflix and whatsoever, many Amazon Prime series and whatever more. And he's carried our equipment. So, I mean, that's so sweet.
There's a fantastic photo somewhere online.
And I would do the same, right? I would always.
There's a fantastic photo, if you look it up online, of Keanu Reeves carrying some equipment, which just gives you that same opinion, like that he is a superstar, like a multi-million-pound earning, like Hollywood legend. But he's not afraid to muck in, and he'd seen, I don't know whether it was a grip was trying to carry too much, and he'd gone, right, no, it's right, I'll jump in as well. And that's I think that's the feel that you want to get across the board. We're not saying that everyone's like that. We all know there are some performers and people, but across the board, that have high opinions of themselves and wouldn't do that. But it's so nice to know that there are examples like that. These super famous, super talented people who still remember where they came from and value everyone's job equally. So,
yes. And now that you're saying this, I want to say one thing too, and that is because I have so many clients coming and so many people. And most of the people will say something like, I don't get jobs, I don't get booked, I don't know what to do. And they say it being desperate, they say it grieving, right? Because it's been going on for years. And then I will come and say, look, new Barbie film, for example, Margot Robbie, that's her name, yeah? The main actress.
Margot Robbie, yeah.
She's the producer, she's put tons of money in. And many people do it. Matt Damon, Good Will Hunting, he started there, and he keeps being the producer. He keeps putting in tons of money and producing his own stuff. Nicole Kidman I just looked her up on IMDb, and one of her newest creation, she's been an executive producer. So that's only money, by the way. Yeah. And then we have like Jennifer Lawrence, No Hard Feelings. I was just in the UK shooting like a crime series, and then I saw Everywhere on the Bus. That was a bit edgy, because she was like there really big with her face, and then like a more unknown actor that no one knows, and then No Hard Feelings, and then just her name, and nothing else. Although there was another actor, and probably there were some producers or a director, but no one cares. It's just about her. So that was a bit edgy. I was like, that's a bit too much. That seems like self-promotion only. But it never stops. The hard work never stops, and it's an illusion that we get booked into these amazing projects. It does happen sometimes, but you can see, like Reese Witherspoon, she just talked about not getting booked anymore at all after being 50. And she has to create her own stuff. She has tons of money, and I know, and that makes things easier. But they've all started out at some point, and it was extremely tough, and they didn't have any money. But I just want to, like now I feel like I have to reframe that for actors and say like, don't wait and sit. Stop waiting. Start doing some things out of initiative because you feel like you're craving to let the story come out or create this character. And it will never stop. You won't get booked much probably in your career. I can tell you 10 examples of people that didn't get booked much, but they produced their things. It may be more of a secret, and it includes a lot of research to find it out. But I mean, if you have an IMDb Pro, you can just go and check who's the producer, who's the scriptwriter, and you will see, oh, that's a famous actors. Yeah, and it's that cool. But I think it's something that we're, through the media, something we're a bit miseducated around. And then just yesterday, after having some clients, I just realized, and that's how deep it can go. If you're miseducated and you think this is the way it is, you only get booked, and I'm just missing out on being booked and getting castings. My life is shit. And then I'm like, no, because you can change that and you can create your own stuff. You can go to festival, talk to directors, get in like real life contact, and then they book you, which happened to me also, without even doing a self-tape. But you have to get out there, show yourself, talk to people, and what we talked about now a lot, which I think is very important we did, educate yourself about the industry and what other people do and how much they invest.
It's a mix of passion and professionalism, isn't it? I think that's certainly what you've demonstrated, with what you've told us. So yeah, passion and professionalism.
And I think it's the perfect way to end. I mean, we could sit and talk to you for hours and hours, but obviously we have our time frame to fit, and we have met that. Lisa, thank you so much for coming and speaking.
Wonderful.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And will you, we'll look to the future, and after the next couple of films you've got coming, will you come back and chat to us again?
Yes, I would love to. I'll tell you about everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you ever so much. And we look forward to seeing all your work that you've got coming up, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks, Lisa. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, mate, what a way to begin our guest episodes for season 9. I mean, just the most unbelievably talented and versatile lady. I mean, I've always wished I could speak another language. I did sort of little bits of languages at school, as most of us do. But to be able to do it to that standard, and I didn't, it's not that we didn't pick up on it, but we didn't necessarily flag it so much in there. She loves Shakespeare. Right now, I struggle with bloody Shakespeare, and I'm English, and it's written in. I mean, so I mean, just take my hat off to the lovely Lisa. Just a very, very talented, very entertaining, and very passionate person. Loves what she does, quite clearly.
I just say that it's the commitment to the craft, and also, as she mentioned it, the commitment to other actors. I mean, the coaching and the guiding and the mentoring of people, and going, we know it's, this is a difficult business for various reasons, but it's difficult because you just got to manage yourself through the business. And her commitment and care, I think, and that speaks volumes, And as you say, learning all those languages, she's still learning another one. She's going on to learn something else. She's like, stop, woman. It's impressive enough. Stop being so,
I mean, I've always, it's an interesting, I've always thought that as a nation, we, the English, are quite lazy. In that,
yeah, there's an understatement, Sam. Yeah,
go abroad, and we know that everyone speaks English, or that nearly everyone speaks English. So why should we bother doing the local lingo or making an effort? And actually, even if we do, you can kind of see they're going, oh fucking hell! Look, I speak.
Stop
English
it!
Better than you speak. French, German, Spanish, whatever. Just shut up. But yeah, no, I think she's. I was going to say she's found a niche. She hasn't found a niche because lots of people do it. But to be able to go, right, I can speak different languages, so I can apply myself to doing what I love, but in different countries and in different language films and to a bigger audience. I mean, fair play. What a great way to sort of further your craft.
Absolutely.
And sort of, I was going to say, beat the system. It's not beating the system, but it's just giving you that extra leg up, and justifiably so.
I mean, we spoke many episodes ago, many seasons ago, about honing one's skills and keeping things on top of things, so that it opens those doors. If you can ride a horse, drive a car, juggle, whatever.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think we mentioned, or we didn't do in great detail, actually being able to speak, different languages. I mean, it's obvious that it's going to open doors. It's a pretty obvious thing, but I mean, that she is someone who obviously has a skill, an aptitude, and is exploiting it to the hilt. And with movies in pre-production, and slated, obviously, it's working for her. I mean, Baby in the Basket to come, Iceman, she's not working in her own language either, is incredible. I say tip my hat to her. Brilliant.
Yeah, just enormously talented, and as I said, a fabulous way to begin our list of guests for this season, with many more exciting ones to come. Go on. With
many more exciting coming, but it was very interesting, because the thing that was lovely about Risa is she reached out to us. So if there's anybody out there that wants to reach out to us, we would love to have other guests on, because that's what it is. It's a forum. It's Drooling Semantics has always been here for everyone. So we love other people to contact us and jump on board.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's as listeners and viewers know, we tend to have people on that either both of us have worked with, or that one of us has worked with extensively or knows fairly well. Lisa's probably the first person who neither of us had any knowledge about really prior to, other than through research, simply through links. And she genuinely is a fan of the show and watches and listens to the show. So it's brilliant, and massively encourage that. We'd love to hear from people that perhaps we haven't had the pleasure of working with or meeting previously. So yeah, just another string to the bow, or another element that's just furthering the podcast and making things just more entertaining, both for obviously listeners and viewers, but equally for us, which is great. So yeah, a really enjoyable chat to a very, very talented, knowledgeable lady. And here's to many more of those, Drew, except next week.
I was about to say, I mean,
it's just us, isn't it?
It's just us, just us having a cup of tea, a beer, a bit of a banter, and we're sorry about that, people, but
bear with us, because there'll be another guest the week after that. So
thank heavens for that. Yeah, but in the meantime, mate.
Oh well, I mean, I'm looking forward to speaking to you next week, even if no one else is looking forward to it. So.
How kind and how thoughtful and how helpful to an old man in his dotage.
Oh yeah, well that's if you make it to next week, of course.
Well, that's true.
Anyway, on that cheerful note, have a cracking week, Drew, and
you, Sam,
listening and watching. Take it easy. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Take care, people. Bye.
Thanks again for watching this episode of Drooling Semantics.
Please make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video.
Don't forget, we're also available as audio only. Just search Drooling Semantics in any good podcast app. And please support us on social media. All our links and handles are on screen now.
We love welcoming new followers and subscribers, so why not share with your family and friends so they can join in too? Thanks very much. See you next time.